Our level of spirituality is always determined by our level of faith or iman. So spirituality, how spiritual we are, is always determined by our iman. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum. A short video on Islam and spirituality, part 2. The most important trait or the most important attribute to have on the spiritual path, or if one is interested in spirituality in Islam, is iman, or faith or trust inside of the heart. Earlier on in 2011, 12 and so on, when I got deep mystical experiences, I always wanted to see more. I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to have a deeper connection with Allah. And earlier on I saw that the level of vision I get will always depend on my iman. If I don't believe in what I see, if I don't believe in a dream or so on, what's the point in going deeper? This is what I learned back then through my own meditation. And now, many years later, I have completely found it to be true, because previously it was discussed that when the vibration increases inside of us, we become automatically more light. And this light is iman. That iman inside of our hearts that is cultivated, and this iman is completely required on the spiritual path. I'm a mystic. I'm a Sufi alchemist. I am that. I can go very deep. I could teach some of this stuff, for example. This is Wird al-Mahfuz, a very, very powerful khasaid that comes from the Akashic records, or Lahul Mahfuz, yeah, directly from there. One of the grand saints wrote this khasaid. I don't even know Arabic properly, but I read it as much as I can, and I get the full effect in my heart. This one can only do with iman. If I wouldn't have iman, I couldn't even read this. I would question it, like, well, what does it mean? How do I know that it is proper according to Sharia and so on? I would just, be like that. I do more than 2,000 Salatul Fatih lima ukhliq every day. It takes hours. It requires iman to do that. And the more we do spiritual practices, the more iman is cultivated in our hearts. So the more we dhikr, the more iman is cultivated in our hearts. If we don't dhikr, if we don't do any dhikr Allah, we don't have any iman. If we don't do any meditation, we don't have any iman. And the basic necessary spiritual practices in Islam are the 5 pillars. One has to do one's salat. It is very difficult to build a very strong iman inside of your heart without doing the 5 daily salat. So iman is related to the more spiritual practices we do, the more iman we will do. That's also confirmed by the statement by Sheikh Ibrahim Nias. Why is he awali? Because he mentions Allah all the time. He all the time dhikr Allah, all the time dhikr Allah. So the more you dhikr Allah, the more sort of you build iman, the more spiritual you become. And as a mystic, I'm always sort of held back in a sense by how deep can I go. Well, that depends very much on the iman. If the iman is very strong, I can go deeper. And I can talk about the hidden tablets. I can talk about seeing Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in a dream. I've seen him in a dream. It's a very, very powerful dream. That's the kind of dream that you never forget. Saw it 2 years ago. I remember the dream as clearly as if it was today. All of these topics require iman. Sort of when it comes to Ma'rifah, the reality of who is Allah, and the reality of Awliya, the reality of Khutub, the reality of Mahdi, and all of these topics, they require iman. If the iman is not so strong, one has to go a little bit more exoteric, more form-based. As we do dhikr, the iman increases, we get more light, we can go deeper. So the more I want to see, the more I want to mystically experience, is going to depend on my iman or my faith or my trust. And also the mystical path, the tariqah, requires iman. That's why the people of tariqah, the people who take bay'ah, are mu'mins, are the ones, the people referred to in the Quran as mu'min, because it requires iman, a leap of faith, to trust in a spiritual teacher to that to a certain extent, to be able to take that step. And the spiritual practices, the dhikrs, they do require iman. Hopefully this is helpful. May peace be unto you. May Allah grant us stronger iman. Ya Allah, grant us stronger iman. Assalamu alaikum.